way. Okay. All right, cool.
Good morning. Welcome back to our channel.
We're back.
It's Table Salt Couple
Dan and Shell.
Messages and Madness.
I'm late.
I don't know why we be laughing like it's so goofy.
I know, but that's
be funny.
That's natural. That's
Anyway.
natural. That's why people don't know how old we are, because we just giggle and
Goofy,
shit. They're like, oh my God, look at them, they're so young. But I made her late this morning. Well, she's not late.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you tell them about that? What happened?
Well, see, right. I think my daughter took my phone out of my room and it caused my alarm not to go off, and I'm such not a morning person anyway, so I need my alarm to wake me up. And I usually hear her when she texts me to say I'm on my way if I'm running late, and I can kind of get, but I didn't hear it this time. I heard the text that says I'm outside.
Yeah,
That's
shout
never
out
good.
to Little D. This hashtag old people be like,
For unplugging
we see you.
my phone. So I'm stressed, because I had to run through the house and be quick about it, because you
It's all good.
carpooling with
It's
people,
all
you don't want to
good.
disrespect their
It's all
time.
good.
So today we are talking about, we were talking about conflict management, right?
Yes, difficult conversations. So I need
Wait.
to have a difficult conversation with you this morning. Are you ready? I'm gonna need you not to make me late for work no more. But
So
by the way, I
sorry.
put my time in.
I'm about to.
Yeah, good.
About to, because I don't need no drama.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
I
a
need to
difficult
check
conversation.
that.
You can't be making people late. If you are in a carpool, you need to be on a sidewalk waiting for your ride. They should not have to wait. That was my goal, my rule for myself, to not make my carpool wait for me. That is a problem.
That's why you didn't get no Starbucks this morning, but that's all right. What you drinking?
I'm infused, y'all.
Toast.
Toast to the infuser. See? The lime,
What you got in there?
the mints, and if you see my doodad, you see my little doodad? My little
Isn't that
contraption?
Boy,
That's my
fancy.
tea infuser. There's green
Wow.
tea in there. I need it because I knew that with all that rushing and stress this morning, I would end up getting a headache. So I'm trying to do preventative care.
Hey, do you know something for watery eyes? Because my eyes are watering like crazy this morning.
I don't know. It's
We'll
not, you didn't
figure
change
that
your
out.
mascara, did you?
It has to have something to do with my makeup. I don't know what it is. But anyway, conflict.
If you guys know, comment behind.
Yes, that's right.
Let her know how she can fix her watery eyes.
Please. Yes.
So conflict management.
Yeah. So difficult conversations. How do you have them?
Yes.
When do you have them? Who do you have them with?
And do you have them?
And do you have them?
Really? Because, some conflicts, really, who cares? You know what I mean? Some conflicts, you're like, well, whatever. It is what it is. That's our famous little, it is what it is.
It is
Whatever.
what it
We're going to
is.
keep it moving. So
that's a good point. I mean, if you have to manage conflict, first thing you got to do is figure out, do you really give a good
Booty.
goddamn?
And it's I had did some workshops on conflict management because I realized that a lot of people, especially the people that you work with professionally, deal with conflict and don't really know how to handle it.
Now, you made a good point, because conflict usually happens when two parties have a vested interest in something.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, in the workplace, everyone has a vested interest in, number one, getting a paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nobody wants to be fired, so I'm going to say most of the time will try to do the best they can at what it is that they're intended to do.
Right.
Secondly, when you've invested that kind of energy and you feel like you've given it your best, and then someone else comes along and they think otherwise, then boom, there you go, conflict.
Right.
So how do you get back to that place where everything is good to go?
Mm-hmm.
What would you suggest? How have you handled conflict in the past? Or give us a real life scenario.
So, conflict, wow. Well, here's the thing, people tend to do one or two things when conflict happens. They either fight through the conflict or they just walk away, right? So it's kind of that flight or fight type of thing.
Or go talk about each other to someone else.
Yeah, talk about fly away and go run your mouth to somebody else about the conflict without ever resolving it. And so I've had several conflicts at work. Let me tell you about one that I thought kind of really, it shaped it really helped my professional growth when, I start working in the corporate America. I was responsible for educating some people that were out in the community who provided services in the community, education services. More importantly, adolescent health education programs they were responsible for providing. This was back home on the East Coast. And my job was to provide them with all the resources, all the training, all of the things that they need so that they could be effective in their community. And I was the only African American in this organization doing what I do. And all of the individuals I was responsible for educating, they were Caucasian and all were women. And because my job was to provide resources, I sent all kinds of information. Anything that had to do with teens, young people, health behaviors, I would just send it either email, I would mail it to them, whatever, do some type of conference call. I would make it happen, for them. And so in this particular case, I sent some information to a woman, and it was an article. And the article was about, I think it was about building relationships or something, but it was focused on teens. And there was a caricature that was used in the article, and the caricature just happened to be of what looked like African American little girl with an afro. Instead of reading the article, the young woman, once receiving the information, sent me an email back and said to me, "I don't work with black people." So this article is irrelevant.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, excuse me? Like, what are you talking about? And because the article had nothing to do with race or ethnicity.
She just happened to be
a little black girl. Who knows who wrote the article? Perhaps it was a black woman, but it was irrelevant. It was a really cute picture of a young teenager, and she was a black girl with an afro. And so this young woman says, it's only 1% of our county that is African American. So, I don't work with black people. My first reaction was really to go in. But I was new, and I was the only black, and, I didn't want to feed into their stereotype of how we, react to conflict.
That's called self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Some people need to get some.
And I was self-aware because I knew my potential.
I'm be honest, I had to grow into it.
And it's important to know, right? Knowing yourself, like it didn't really pause it long enough to say, okay, what is the best, how can I react to this?
What are my triggers?
What are my triggers?
I've obviously pulled my trigger now.
Pulled it.
I am aware, and I don't want to react.
Like a fool. And she pulled my trigger, and I reloaded on her. Like I was like, pull the trigger and reload, So, I, said to her, well, thank you for the information about what percentage of African American reside in your county. I said, but in the event, I said two things. Number one, this article has nothing to do with race and ethnicity, and you may want to check yourself that you made an assumption about an article solely on a picture that was in the article. I said, and number two, by chance that you will interface with that 1%, you will not be prepared if in fact that article was about African Americans. I said, you will not be prepared to have a conversation because you're rejecting information that could be useful, rather it be with white individual, Asian individuals, African American individuals. But by chance that you show up to a church in your community that is housing that 1%, you will not be prepared to have a conversation with those young people if that information was solely about African American.
And thinking about something else, with diversity being such a trending topic topic in the corporate world or what have you, I mean, that would have been a great opportunity to introduce some diversity into that 99% that's non-black. Right.
And I did talk to her. I actually visited her county afterwards. You know, I was still irritated, but I had to, you know, when you're dealing with conflict, you have to decide how important it is in its resolution. Do you care about the issue enough to even want to resolve it?
So pause right there, because I think this is a good cliffhanger. If you want to know more about what happened in this situation of conflict management, then we want you to check out part 2 of this video. But like, comment, and share. Let us know what you think about conflict management. We'll see you on the other side.
Other side.